Today, we are learning 10.3. Okay, today we're talking about probability. Probability is used to measure the chances of an event occurring. A desired outcome is called a success, and anything else is a failure. Some of you know what that's like. I'm just totally kidding. Okay. All right. So, when you're trying to find the probability, it's your successful outcomes over however many were possible. Okay? Here's rules of probability. Okay? The probability for an event must be between 0 and 1. Okay? Either, it can't be more than 1. It's either going to happen or not happen or whatever. Okay? If it's impossible, the probability is 0. Some of these should hopefully make sense. If it is certain that it's going to happen, it's 1. Like, for instance, if I said, what is the probability that we... Yeah, that's 1. No. Like, if I had a bag of red marbles and I said, what's the probability of pulling out a red marble, and they're all red in it? Yeah, the probability would be 1. Like, let's say there's 5 red marbles in there. The choice would be 5 out of 5 marbles is going to be red. Does that make sense? Yeah. But you're just choosing 1, but there's 5 red out of 5, so that would be 5 out of 5, which would be probability of 1. Okay, number 4, the sum of all probabilities for all possible outcomes must equal 1. So, for instance, if you had, in a bag, we had 3 red marbles and 2 blue marbles. Okay, so you'd have 3 out of 5 plus 2 out of 5 makes the 5 out of 5. That's what they're saying. They always add to equal 1. Okay, and the complement just means kind of like the opposite. So whatever the event, something happening, if you go 1 minus that happening, you would get the complement of it. So it's basically kind of like the opposite. And this will all make sense more as we go through it. Okay, so remember that when you have a single die, it's a die. Multiple is dice. Okay? For some reason, we always call a single die a dice, but it's not. It's a die. When you have more than one, it's dice. Okay, find these probabilities. So, what is the probability of rolling a 5 or getting a 5 when you roll a die?
1 out of 6.
Very good. 1 out of 6 is correct. Okay, focus, please. What is the probability of getting a number less than 3? It doesn't say less than or equal to 3. It says less than 3. So, how many numbers are less than 3? 2 out of 6, so we're going to write it as 2 out of 6 because there's 2 numbers that are less than 3. There's a 1 and a 2.
Oh, we're still talking about the die?
Yes, this example 1, all these are with a die. Okay, and then you would reduce this and it becomes 1/3. What is the probability of getting a number that is less than 13?
1.
1 is correct. There's 6 out of 6 that are less than 13, which will reduce to 1. What's the probability of getting a number greater than 6? 0 out of 6, which is 0. Okay, so this says, what is the complement of getting a 5? What that means is, no, the complement of getting a 5. So first of all, what is the probability of getting a 5?
1 out of 6.
1 out of 6, right? So what is the complement of that? What's the opposite of that?
Oh, 6. Wait, no.
5 out of 6.
5 out of 6 is the complement.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's talk about that. We said complement is when you subtract, basically, right? So if the probability, so in order to find the complement, oftentimes it's easiest to find what is the probability of that happening. So the probability of getting a 5 is 1 out of 6. Okay, so in order to find the complement, you'd go 1 minus 1/6. And in order to subtract fractions, you need to have a common denominator, correct? So then I would actually change 1 to be 6 over 6, because that's the same thing as 1, correct? And then you subtract 1/6, and then you end up getting your 5/6. If you just want to think about it, if the probability of getting a 5 is 1 out of 6, what's the probability of not getting a 5? So you're 5 out of 6. So you can also think about it that way. So you're just kind of finding the opposite of whatever they're asking you. Okay? Yes? We're okay there? All right, moving on. Example 2. This time we have a card is drawn from an ordinary deck of cards. Okay, so it's just a regular deck of cards that has all the cards there. What you need to remember, though, is how many cards are in an ordinary deck. Very good. You have 52 cards in a deck. Okay? Now, I also want to talk about you, and you need to know this stuff, okay? So, what are the different suits in a deck?
There's 4.
There's 4 suits. What are they? Okay. Diamonds, hearts, clubs, spades. Okay. Now, diamonds, are those red or black? Diamonds are red. Hearts are? Clubs are? Black. And spades are black. I would write all this down if you don't know this information because you're going to want this for your homework. Okay. In each of your suits, and a suit is diamonds, hearts, and so on, how many cards are in each suit? That's incorrect. 13 in each suit. So there's 13 diamonds, there's 13 hearts, there's 13 clubs, and there's 13 spades.
I know.
Is it a... Okay, anyways. So, with all that, now, within each of those, there are... So, in each, like, in the diamonds, in that suit of diamonds, what are the cards?
King, queen, ace, jack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3.
Okay, so I'm just going to go. So, you have your ace, king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2... And then your 1 can be your ace as well. But if you count all that, that's 13. So each one of these suits has those cards. Okay? Now, sometimes they're going to ask you about face cards. An ace does not have a face on it. Okay? Face cards are only king, queen, and jack. Those are face cards. Okay? Aces do not have a face on them. Okay? All right, so I think that is all the information that you are going to need. So it says, what is the probability of getting a jack?
4.
Good, because there's a jack in the diamonds, a jack in the hearts, a jack in the clubs, and a jack in the spades. Do we all agree with that? So that is 4 out of 52, and you want to reduce that, and it reduces to 1 over 13 is your correct answer. And you always want to reduce it to simplest form. Okay. What is the probability of getting a 6 of clubs?
1 out of 52.
1 out of 52 is correct. What is the probability of getting a diamond? Good. 13 out of 52, which reduces to 1/4. Okay. What is the probability of getting a black card?
1/2.
Very good. Or 26 out of 52, which reduces to 1/2.
Wait, so you don't need to make a reduction?
No, probabilities are always going to stay as fractions.
Oh.
Okay? All right. Questions on example 2. Okay. And everybody wrote down this information because it's going to help you in your homework. We're all good there? Okay. Example 3. A bag contains 6 white, 3 blue, and 7 green marbles. If one marble is chosen at random, what is the probability of each event? So we need to pay attention. There are 6 white, 3 blue, 7 green. So you always need to know what is your actual total. Very good. So our total is 16. Okay, so what is the probability the marble you choose is going to be white?
6 out of 16.
Good. And then you reduce it. And what can you divide the top and the bottom by?
2.
2. And so you'd end up getting 3 over 8. And can I reduce that anymore?
No.
Okay, so 3/8. Okay, the marble is not green. Very good. So we're not taking the green. We're only taking what's not green, which is white and blue. So that is 9 out of 16. And can that reduce? No. So that's our answer. Okay, and then it says, what is the probability the marble is blue or green? 10 out of 16 is correct. And another way of thinking about this is that you add them together and you guys basically added it in your head. But if the probability is blue, that is 3 out of 16. Plus the probability of green is 7 out of 16. And we add that and we get 10 out of 16. And we reduce that to make 5/8. Okay? When you see or, you are adding the events together. Okay. Any questions before we move on?
No.